Welcome back, finally, once
Whoa.
again, to the Pitlane Pals Formula One podcast. Oh, it's been a minute. I'm back in the States, back on home soil, the land of the free, the home of the brave, and Logan Sargent. This past weekend, though, we had a race across the pond in Italy, in Monza, the Temple of Speed. And, it felt like I was rewatching 2022, 2023 even. It felt like the 2023 Formula One season had returned. Maybe 2024 even. Max Verstappen, from beginning to end, dominated the race, besides the one little brief stint where he had to give the place back to Lando Norris for overtaking in off the track and gaining an advantage and whatever. But I mean, granted, it wasn't officially FIA ruled, but Red Bull told him to do it before it became a problem. But beyond that, it was the first race we've seen in a long time where the McLarens have just not run away with it. And that would be great if it wasn't for the fact that somebody else just ran away with it instead. Saying the McLarens didn't run away with this weekend could have made for a great race, but instead it actually just resulted in a different car dominating. And I really think it was just Red Bull nailed their setup compared to everybody else. McLaren was slow in the straight lines.
Right.
Ferrari seemed to completely lose their pace once qualifying started. Once the race started. I mean, Lewis had a good race, but it was just Red Bull and their setup for Max Verstappen was just, I think they nailed it. I think they did pretty good.
I think this was just like a testament of Verstappen masterclass. Like, that guy made everybody else on that grid look absolutely silly. Like,
it's true.
He was banging out lap records at that point, like with at ease, pretty much. He was just on another level, and inching out a gap of, what was it, 12 seconds at the end. I don't remember how far away he was.
When it finished?
Yeah, when it finished.
19 seconds.
He was 19 seconds away from the McLaren. It was not pace advantage of he was able to run away with it, but he was within 5 seconds. 19 seconds is absolutely insane.
But again, it goes back to the McLarens had no straight line speed that weekend. And no, Monza was never going to be a track that really suited their expertise, but I do think they could have put a bit more setup in the straight line speed rather than the downforce, because so much of the track is the straight line speed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the ghost hot lap of the qualifying, but every time they got to the straight, when they were doing qualifying, Max Verstappen's Red Bull would just pull away from the McLaren, like, completely. And obviously McLaren had the middle sector where the corners actually were, and they gained back up there. But by the time you get to the last two straights, it was gone. It was gone. There was just no keeping up with the straight line speed of the Red Bull this weekend. Or the Ferraris. I mean, we saw Oscar Piastri had a bit of trouble with Charles Leclerc, who was very hard to pass because of his pace advantage on the straight line. The McLaren just was not set up for straight line speed at a track where it does matter a lot. And I get that they knew that there was probably only so much they could do, but they do that a lot. They're always kind of the team that's going to prioritize their downforce. They did it in Spa as well. And in Spa it makes a bit more sense because that track's a little longer, and there is a lot more technical corners on it. But I mean, it was never really going to be their weekend, their circuit to succeed to the level. But I do feel like, no, I mean, Max would have won anyways, but they definitely could have kept it a little closer if they did their setup a little better. But I guess they can't be too upset with leaving with a P2 and P3.
Yeah. I mean, from what I've heard from the race directors and from the TV directors of the race, they said that the McLaren is actually optimal within the 200 kph rough estimate of just quick corners. So if that's kind of what McLaren knows they're the best at, they'll definitely kind of try and inch their car into then just, getting the gap within the corners. And I mean, Monza's got the massive straights, but the corners are also not that slow. I mean, obviously the first corner is, but the rest of them, they're decently paced. Obviously not the quickest corners on the calendar, but trying to then get that pace, especially through sector 2. It's where they're best at. So I understand the road they took. At the end of the day, it didn't really go their way, but rough race. Nice till lap 10.
Well,
the end was pretty
even. The first part of the race was very entertaining though. Yeah, it was definitely some cinema. It was absolute cinema. And then it kind of got a little boring after that. I will say, though, there was some drama towards the end of the Grand Prix, which everyone's been discussing. Even NBA basketball player Joel Embiid had a comment on it.
I did know that, actually. What did he say?
Something, well, we're going to get into it, but he didn't agree with the McLaren's decision. And I think here's my personal 2 cents, and I have a feeling you'll agree with me.
We haven't talked about this yet, so this is actually like first-hand us talking about this topic, because we did not text about this at all. I'm excited. Okay.
Well, because I didn't think it'd be so controversial until I started seeing the days following the race. People are upset that Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri swapped positions at the end of the Italian Grand Prix. And I just think it's a bit silly. I think it's a bit silly to be upset about it for 2 reasons. Lando was promised that he would not get undercut if he made the swap or if he let Piastri pit first. Now, I will note, yes, it is true that the pit stop error had nothing to do with the undercut, but it's also a very different position if Lando pits first, and that doesn't happen.
True.
That's just like obviously had Lando pit first and his pit stop fucked up, and then Oscar did the overcut and his pit stop was perfect and he still came out in front. Different conversation, but because he pit first, he let Piastri pit first for his own battle with Leclerc. Which I don't even know if it really was that necessary. Seemed a bit unnecessary. I don't think Leclerc was going to get him anyways, but I guess cover off all your bases, whatever. Maybe there's something they know that I didn't. I just personally think that it made sense. It made sense to swap the drivers back. Lando agreed to it under the condition he would not be undercut, and because of a pit stop malfunction, he was undercut, something out of his control. And even Piastri himself has come out and said that he thinks the swap was fair. Lando was quicker all race, and it wasn't his fault what ended up happening in the end. And even Max Verstappen had a comment about it, which I don't know if you saw, but Max's engineer comes on the radio and says the McLaren swapped places, and Max goes, "Ha! Just because the pit stop was slow or whatever."
No,
but there's saying it's just because of that is very. It's summarizing something that it wasn't. Again, had Lando come in first and his pit stop was slow and Piastri overcut him because of that, that's a different story. But he agreed to do the pit stop second under the condition that he would not be undercut. And at the end of the day, I think it does go back to Hungary 2024. I think it does. I do think it goes back to that because I thought it was a little silly that Lando had to give that position back, but if he had to give that position back, then so did Piastri in that race. And also, one more comment about it before I yell at my piece. Lando was catching Piastri, and once he did get Piastri in the end, he pulled away. So I do think he would have got Piastri in the end, regardless. So,
yeah, you pretty much said everything I wanted to say. I think it was fair as well. Definitely, 100% fair call.
Yeah.
I do get the arguments of saying it was not, and you should just run away with it, and you shouldn't have, told the team that he's fine with actually pitting as second and letting Piastri pit first because he should prioritize his championship, and ideally he would want Leclerc to finish in P3 in front of Piastri.
Yes.
But that's just not the kind of driver Norris is. I feel like if there's a team gain in sight, he'll definitely take it. And I feel like it was fair of him to offer that so his teammate could finish P3, even though they are in a championship fight. Now, the swap around, I think, executed well. That just made it even, and they did have the green flag to go racing afterwards. The reason they swapped again is because Norris didn't pit, so Piastri could theoretically defend against Leclerc, who was coming faster from behind. And then, obviously, he got a worse pit stop, and I think that's just like the only reason we are in this situation is because I did this decision for you, so it's fair to just swap it around. And
yes.
the comment that Max made, it's like
really fueled the fire.
It fueled the fire. It actually just fueled the fire because it was not because of the slow stop. It was not because of the pit crew. It was because of what happened before. It was a decision that was made for the team and not as not for the driver. So yeah, it's a fair call.
Yeah, and I do strongly believe we really need to remember at the end of the day, Formula One is a team sport.
Ooh.
And people ever since then have had a quite interesting take, which is that I saw somebody say, here's some big series that don't allow team orders. IndyCar, NASCAR, etc. Those sports, though, don't have a Constructors' Championship. That's why they don't allow team orders. Those IndyCar drivers, those NASCAR drivers, each one of them have their own pit crew. There is no team aspect, really, other than the sponsors on their car and who makes it.
Yeah.
But in the race, they're independent. And acting like Formula One needs to ban team orders in a sport that has a Constructors' Championship is awfully silly. Is there instances where I would like to see team orders less implicated? Of course. But at the end of the day, McLaren's goal is to appeal to their sponsors.
Yeah.
And they want to do as well in the Constructors' Championship as they can. They just signed a huge deal, unfortunately, with MasterCard to now be the last team to sign a title sponsor on the grid, which I just don't love. I think McLaren Formula One team sounds far better, but now it's McLaren MasterCard Formula One team. Whatever.
We'll still call it McLaren, so yeah.
No, I know. It's just it's like
no, I know.
It's like
I
the
get
HP
that.
thing
Yeah,
with Ferrari,
yeah.
like HP Ferrari. Like, all right. Point being, it's a financial sport. It's a team sport, and part of the aspect of Formula One is that there's that constant butting heads between team and driver, and the drivers want the drivers' championship. That's all they really care about. Besides, maybe unless you're with Ferrari, there's a bit more team pride. And otherwise, for the most part, the drivers just want their drivers' championship, and they're going to be upset, and the teams don't give a fuck. I mean, they do. Obviously, they want their driver to win a drivers' championship. There's a huge marketing that comes with that as well, but it's important to note that the constructors will always and forever be more important to the teams. So saying that we should ban team orders over shit like this is just a bit ridiculous. Would I like to... But if they also didn't say, don't fight. They said, hey, give them the position back because we let you go first, but you can fight after. Which I want to make clear also, this is something that I think people are forgetting, benefited Piastri still in the end.
True.
Piastri benefited because he was way closer in the end of that whole thing than he was before the pit stop. He was way closer. And so it's just, I think it was played out. I think it was handled well. I think if they didn't do it that way, Hungary would have got mentioned by Norris because that was an investment by Lando. He gave up a race win, and that was big. That was a bigger deal too. That was a race win. That wasn't just P2 and P3. That was a race win. So I won't stay on it too long, but I just think some very important notes that people are forgetting to acknowledge from that whole debacle. And I think there is just a large aspect of, keep in mind who you support. Because I think some people forget that they are kind of being biased sometimes, and they just wanted Piastri to finish above Norris.
And I think
that's fine.
Yeah,
but just don't use it to critically analyze the situation.
And at the end of the day, both of them, and I mean especially Norris said this, that these are situations they don't want to get into. They don't actively want the team to decide, okay, so Piastri just had a malfunction on his pit stop. Please just wait for 5 seconds so the order remains. That's not what they want to do. It's just McLaren has been really great this season with not being biased towards the garage. And I feel like if they wouldn't have not given that position back for Lando, they would have had a bias towards Piastri, because the decision was made for Piastri to guarantee that he would not be overtaken by Leclerc. So then not giving that position back to Lando kind of fucked him over, which would have tipped the bias towards Piastri. And McLaren has been fully towards letting the two of them race. 100%. They've said this multiple times within their rules, which is basically just don't bin it into each other. You're free to race.
That's the rule.
It's basically the rule. Yeah. The rule is just don't bin it. You can race, just don't bin it.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I feel like it was the right call to make. People are overdoing it, saying, you know, I mean, there are thousands of memes online right now about put the car into the wall because Lando just crashed. Like, it's completely ridiculous. Yeah.
There's just a lot of discourse around Lando Norris, and this just helps fuel that fire, I suppose.
Yeah.
But moving on, there was some very interesting drama towards the kind of middle of the field a little bit. Just I think worth noting is Carlos Sainz and Liam Lawson.
Oh yeah,
another shunt.
Wait, was it with Liam?
Carlos?
No, it was with Ocon.
Oh, sorry. Ocon.
No,
sorry.
Behrman. Sorry.
No, Behrman.
Lawson.
It was Behrman.
Lawson,
it was Behrman.
Sainz was the race before, which we sadly didn't cover because we didn't have time.
Yes. True. I'm getting confused because we haven't recorded, and my mind has also been on American football this past weekend. It's back in action. We're about to switch the Pitlane Pals Formula One podcast.
We will not.
The NFL podcast. No, but Carlos Sainz and Oliver Behrman had a shunt, which Carlos Sainz was awarded a 10-second penalty for, which seemed a bit...
No. Behrman got one.
Behrman. I can't speak. Oh my God. Behrman was given a 10-second penalty, which didn't make any sense because Sainz closed the door on him. Cut it out.
God,
I'm rusty.
God.
Kidding. Sorry. Just joking around, guys. No, but okay. So Behrman, let me learn how to speak. Let me get my thoughts together. All right. Ready.
Take a breather.
Behrman was trying to come up the inside of a Carlos Sainz who shut the door on him and did not leave any racing room, which seemed a bit harsh to give Behrman a penalty for, which is also, again, now Behrman I think has 10 out of 12 penalty points before a race ban because of this. And I just, there's a lot of penalties that Behrman does deserve, but sometimes I feel like the FIA sits there in their office and just goes, how can we ruin this kid's day? Because I do think that penalty was undeserved. I think that Behrman had the right to space in that corner. And while, yes, he did end up flipping Sainz around, that was only because Sainz gave him no racing room.
Right. And I think, obviously we didn't cover this because we didn't have the time, as I just said. But if you also compare it to the penalty that was given out in Zandvoort to Sainz with Lawson, it kind of draws a picture of FIA rules that are very much difficult, which they're strictly standing by in these last few races, at least. The reason why Max Verstappen doesn't get penalized when he just sends it onto the apex and then just pushes the car wide is because the FIA loves the first car that gets at the apex. The second one is like the neglected child, which then just basically gets the penalty because if you're there and you're not at the apex, just disappear, mate. What are you doing?
No, literally.
No, it's because it's that. That's,
it makes
that's
overtaking so
rule.
fucking difficult.
That's the rule.
It makes overtaking so fucking difficult.
Because it's ridiculous.
It makes it impossible.
Because I mean, if you look at the incident, yes, Behrman was not at the apex first, but he was like a good half car length alongside, and Sainz closed the door, and he got the 10 seconds because he wasn't at the apex. He wasn't the first person at the apex, and like, first of all,
it doesn't. Doesn't make any sense.
I don't get it. I don't get it. If you're not the first car at the apex, you can't just disappear.
You can't overtake.
Yes, and it's just it makes it super weird, and that was exactly why everyone was outraged, which I 100% understand, by the penalty given to Carlos Sainz and Zandvoort, because Liam Lawson, the man, the myth, the legend, got to the apex first and was then declared holy. So everything else touching him,
Declared a holy is crazy.
touching him, which was not at the apex first, is declared illegal to be there. So it's so annoying.
Declared that he's intruding on the New Zealander space.
It's just,
in Europe. Just yeah, it's a repeating issue. It's just, again, it's not like it doesn't affect really much. It's just annoying to see.
It's annoying. It's annoying. It's so
and at this
annoying.
rate, Oliver Behrman is going to get a race ban at this point.
Yeah, and just I
think Oliver Behrman is
Poor
going to make
guy.
it the rest of the season without two
Hell
more
no.
penalties.
Hell no. Matter of fact,
Yeah.
next race is last race before break. But
We could totally start predicting right now who's going to fill in this seat.
oh no,
It's going to happen. It's going to happen at some point.
What's his name called? He's not a PK. He's the Haas.
Oh.
He was there a few times. Is he a PK?
Oh.
He is a PK, no?
No,
You know exactly what I'm
I
talking
can't
about.
remember. I know who
You know
you're
exactly
talking about.
He's got another brother in F3, I believe. He's not a
Just keep talking.
Yeah, I'm just gonna continue talking. He's done a few practices, and I believe, as far as I know, he's the Haas reserve driver. I'm very annoyed that I can't.
because the Haas reserve driver is I'm not even gonna try and pronounce it. It's
Bennett,
it's here.
do it.
It's Hirakawa.
Hirakawa.
It's an Asian name. I can't.
Where did you find this?
I knew who it was, but I was trying to look it up to see how I pronounce his name.
Right. Oh, well, then they swapped it. Oh, he was Fittipaldi.
Fittipaldi, yes,
It was Fittipaldi. Pietro, yeah.
Yeah,
God, sorry, that took a while.
that was embarrassing. It's been a minute. I need to refresh my.
We
Formula
are
One
both
knowledge.
very much rusty. That's true. It's been a while.
Yeah. Speaking of
Rusty.
reserve drivers,
Oh, sorry.
Rusty's Lightning McQueen.
No.
No. Speaking of reserve drivers, IndyCar driver Colton Herta
Ooh.
is making the move. He's making the move. Well, not making the move really, but he's committed to be the Cadillac reserve driver behind Sergio and Valtteri Bottas.
How do you feel
Which I think
having an American close to the sport? Just give me on a scale of 1 to 10. How do you feel right now?
it'll never be Logan Sargent.
Which part of Logan Sargent? Because I feel like in his career, he's not really done a lot of, we're acting like it's never going to be Ayrton Senna. Not the same.
There's something about the only American Formula One driver that I've had the privilege of watching with my own eyes, being named Logan Hunter Sargent.
Now, I will just to clarify this with you. The moments you did watch him was when he was in the wall or at the race start. So,
And qualifying sometimes when he wasn't in the wall.
yeah, true.
Don't forget.
Q1 when he were like the little pictures. You got to see him at the end.
Yeah.
Great.
You could see the little blue bubble.
Jesus.
And, I do often laugh about the fact that somebody on the graphic design team in the Formula One world had to make a winner's animation for Logan Sargent. And a podium animation.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's funny to think about, isn't it?
Well, it's even worse.
Just
it's
side tangent.
even worse because they don't. Not only they did not only have to, make an animation for it, but they also had to film the clip of him celebrating for his win. So there was an actual segment of when they were doing the shoots in their race suits. They were like, so you're going to Williams, right? Okay. Well, we have to do this. This is just by the textbook.
Don't get your hopes up.
Don't get your hopes up. How would you celebrate if you were to win? And it must have been so fake.
But Colton Herta is going to be the reserve driver. If he ever does get a shot in a Formula One seat, then,
you're sure to get some merch.
I'm gonna have my Cadillac hat on all the time. If he ever gets a shot. Not that I have any right now. Yet. But I'm rooting for Cadillac. I'm rooting him on. But yes, just a weird little tidbit of information. He's wanted to be a Formula One driver for a while, hasn't been able to get the super license points, so he's doing reserve work for the time being. And there was also some rumors he might go to Formula 2, but that's kind of still up in the air. So, on top of that, what else is there that I went down?
I gotta say
there's probably something
things.
you gotta.
Yeah. I always. So this is obviously behind the camera work. I do tend to spam Caden a lot with Instagram posts about various different topics, basically Formula One, and I sent him a post basically stating, and I do think this is true, that the McLarens have actually broken the record at the Italian GP, surpassing the famous 1998 McLaren MP4 when it comes to podium finishes in one season. Norris and Piastri have got 27 podiums, and at during the times of 1988, Senna and Prost got 25 podiums within 16 GPs, and obviously the same thing within 16 GPs of Norris and Lando. That's actually pretty impressive. That's actually really impressive.
True.
Because you can state, they also had less races during that time. Yes, but it is calculated within 16 Grand Prix, which obviously limits 1988 because they didn't have that many races. But just within the performance of 16 races, compared next to each other, they surpassed Senna and Prost, and saying that feels really weird. But it's true.
It is true. And it is weird. It is weird to say, because if you were to tell me at the beginning of the 2022 Formula One regulation stint that McLaren would end up having these record-breaking numbers in this era of development, I would not believe you, because they started off this era in the gutter. In the gutter, truly.
Yeah.
They were fighting just to get into the points a lot of weekends. Not a good time. Actually, the only Formula One race I've ever been to in this era was before they were good, and that sometimes annoys me. Because I went to the Miami Grand Prix in 2022. And
you had a race, mate. You had a race. You can't. Yeah, true. You can't really complain.
True.
We haven't talked about this. We haven't talked about this. Should I put it under the rug for a different episode, or should I?
We'll put it under the rug. We'll put it under the rug.
All right.
We're not going to get into it right now, but we'll save it for the time. But
people can figure out. People can figure out to which specific race I went to, which did not happen.
Yeah, you can use context clues, I think, pretty well.
My one and only race did not happen. All right, sorry.
True. But no, it's crazy to think about, because I watched Lando Norris bin it in the wall in Miami with his basketball helmet on.
So did I in quali.
Not even in the points anyways. And now we're talking 3 years later. His first race win came in Miami, and that car is just totally flipped around. So that is definitely worth noting. Very, 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 very impressive car that McLaren built.
Yeah. Oh, we should talk about one thing.
Especially, but
sorry.
Yeah.
I kind of jumped into your word. Not Lando Norris, Jesus. Alonso going into the pits before the race. No, not the race start, but DNFing very, very early because of
Oh, yes.
what was it again? I think the suspension broke. No, suspension front right broke as he was just sending it over the curb, and Alonso was actually within points as far as I remember while he was racing, and we talked about this a bit in our last episode, and Alonso has just been the most unlucky driver this season. I think he's actually P1 when it comes to being unlucky, because that man somehow manages to either DNF when he's in the points or get very close to coming into the points and then just cutting it a bit too short. It's ridiculous.
True. Very true. Very true. He has had, I would argue, probably the worst season for like luck-wise that I've seen somebody have in a very long time. It's just consistently across the board, just another again and again and again and again. There's just something else with the Aston Martin. They get their hopes up, they get their hopes down, and it's just a roller coaster of emotions, especially for Fernando Alonso, which is also crazy. It's crazy to say this out loud, but Lance Stroll is currently ahead of Fernando Alonso in the championship.
With 2 points, but yes, he is ahead, which is ridiculous.
Yes.
Absolutely ridiculous.
And that wouldn't happen if Fernando Alonso had any luck on his side ever. And Lance Stroll's actually been pretty lucky in a few select races this year, actually. So they're kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum. Trying to think. Oh, one thing we didn't actually have the pleasure to talk about because we didn't do a recap last weekend was Isaac Hadjar's first career podium.
Dude, my mind just went the exact same direction. That was actually what I was just thinking about. Isaac Hadjar getting his first podium in Zandvoort.
Yeah.
Now,
we didn't get the pleasure to talk about it. We're a little late, but just want to put it on the radar. I mean, that was a miracle. Now,
were you happy? Yeah, I was about to say, were you happy at that point?
It did come at the sacrifice of a Lando Norris. And won't stay on the podium topic too long because there is one thing I want to know. With the DNF and Zandvoort, despite the better result in Monza, where's Lando's championship hopes at this point?
Oh.
It's not looking great. It's not looking great. Do I think it's out the window? No.
Hell no.
Things can happen. But it doesn't, there definitely needs to be like a specifically bad weekend or two from Oscar Piastri.
Which is definitely possible because we do still have 8 races left.
8 races to gain a 31-point deficit.
Which is possible.
It is. But when you're both in the same machinery, that's where it gets tricky. Because the races that Lando's going to do well, so is Oscar, and vice versa. And as we've seen time and time again, they've matched each other quite a lot this year. The only difference really has come down to Lando's... Well, the DNF was not his fault. It was a mechanical issue. But the mistakes he's made leading up to that. He already had to dig himself out of a hole once. And he did it. And he was finally back in the close to the single-digit point gap.
And here we go again.
Here we go again.
I think
it is unfortunate, but it is reality.
I feel like there's a plan here. There's a way of making this work.
There's a will, and if there's a will, there's a way.
If there's a will and there's a way, and I think there's a great movie which they dive into the strategic behind that call, and it's Plan C, really. It's the only logical way of making this work.
Plan fucking C, that fucking movie. Oh my god. What's Plan C?
Dude.
C is for chaos.
Dude. No, combat, mate. It's for combat. Isn't it?
It's for combat. That's so much worse. It's for fucking combat.
Lando, you've got Oscar approaching. Remember, Plan C. Dude.
Put fucking spikes on his tires while we're at it.
Put his ass into the wall.
Yep.
There you
That's
are.
the only thing left on the table at this point.
No, it can still turn around. It can still turn around.
It can happen. It's unfortunate. And I mean, we have some tracks coming up that are going to be very, very technical.
Yeah.
We have Azerbaijan coming up, which is going to be a tricky one. We have Singapore coming up, which is going to be a tricky one. Lando's done very well at Singapore.
I was about to say he's been pretty good
in
at
the
Singapore.
past. We've seen, you know, we have a lot of circuits that are going to produce some good racing towards the end of the year. Especially, I mean, the Texas always produces a good race.
True.
Austin, Brazil always produces a fucking amazing race. Sao Paulo is arguably the best track on the calendar. Vegas, by some miracle, continues to produce decent racing. I don't know why or
The
how,
upside
but it's
down
happening.
pig. It's great.
Is
Great
producing
track.
decent racing.
Yeah.
And then we have Qatar, which makes me a little nervous because that track doesn't do well for Formula One cars and the tires,
Especially
And then we
Formula
have
One
Abu Dhabi, which,
drivers.
you know, yeah. If I mean, it's not like I want it to happen this way, but there has to be. Lando definitely has to depend on at least one mistake from Oscar Piastri in a race that Lando also wins.
It's just, I mean, psychologically, there's less pressure because theoretically, he's now saying, "Okay, this is kind of gone. I'll just try my best to see what I can scramble up." So,
I mean, technically, if Lando just won every race for the rest of the year, he'd win the championship, even if Oscar was P2 in every single race. Now, is he going to win every single race for the rest of the year?
no.
Probably not. But, I mean, technically, he only needs to gain 4 points, around 4 points every single race. 3.8, if you want to be specific. 3.8 points per race to win the championship.
Bring back the fastest lap point right now.
Right? Right? What happened? Can we bring that back? Can we bring
Please.
that back?
Please.
Actually, I don't know. It was kind of cheesy though, because people would just come in to get the fastest lap, which I think kind of defeated the point of the fastest lap. I think the point of the fastest lap was just to reward somebody for going quickest over the course of a lap, not coming for soft tires in the last lap of the race and just try it. It was a bit tacky, I think, in that regard, but definitely would help Lando out if it was possible.
Yeah. We do have to say something.
We do.
Yeah. I've got one more call, actually. If McLaren finishes, I believe, on the podium next race, both cars, they have won the 2025 Constructors' Championship.
Damn.
Which is crazy.
Back to back.
What a car. What a dominant
Back-to-back.
car. Crazy stuff. Absolutely crazy stuff.
And
What does that mean for the future? Now, theoretically, if they have the Constructors' Championship in the bag, something like Monza won't happen again because there's no more team interest because they've won.
well, it's also been though.
No,
That's
stay
interesting,
with
because
me
I
here.
guess-
Stay with me here. I mean,
hold on, because I think yes, but also no. Like, I think half of Monza happens, half of it doesn't. So I don't think they ask him to cover off Leclerc. Maybe, like, logically, they shouldn't give a fuck.
right.
Like Lando shouldn't care what Oscar's doing if the championship is won. You know,
Right.
and so he shouldn't have to come in. But the team still has to say one of you comes in first. Those things still have to exist. The second part, let's assume Lando did come in. They probably still swapped the places just for fairness, because that's nothing to do with the championship at that point. It was just for fairness. So I think a lot of it will stick around because they're trying to keep the drivers even. But
Yes.
some of those, like Lando doesn't have to hit second because of the championship, because
We wouldn't
there'd
in
be
that
no reason.
situation.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
So
trying
like
to
some
say.
of it does happen, some of it doesn't happen, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
Let me see. Anything else to talk about? I mean, we have Azerbaijan coming up next weekend, which not next weekend, 2 weekends from now, I believe. Which I am excited for.
We should be able to make a. We can make a preview. I can make a preview work. I mean, I'm going to be on vacation,
Yeah.
so it's definitely
Where
going
you
to be Seychelles Islands, I think they're called. Hell yeah!
I'll be here.
So it's going to be me recording at a palm tree.
Too much. That'd be fire, actually. An outdoor setting. Tucked away in my tucked away in my apartment in New York City. I'll join you for an outside episode. I'll go find a little
Hell
quiet
yeah,
part in the
bro.
park. Just me, my computer, and no outlets or anything to record with.
I think they've got like
stream.
that small park there in New York, you know. Got like that that green bit, you know. You can record there.
The green, you mean Central Park?
Yes, I mean Central Park.
Okay. Yeah, I would cover some more things, but I think we're running out of time a little bit. And there isn't too much more of importance to say about the race. Just acknowledge that Lewis Hamilton seemed to come to life, which was nice.
Sure.
Gabriel Bortoleto looks fantastic once again. And Kimi Antonelli finally got some points in a home race, which good for him. Beyond that, I think we will come back with a preview for Azerbaijan, which is in 2 weeks, not this weekend, but the following. And then we have another gap, and then we'll have Singapore. So things are heating up towards the end of the Formula One season. I can't believe we already have only 8 races left. That's crazy. It's been a good year though. And then we got new regulations. So I'm thinking ahead, but I'm excited. I'm excited for Audi and Cadillac next year.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
But thank you all for listening to this episode of the Pitlane Pals Formula One podcast. If you did enjoy, you can find us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all the places wherever you want to listen. If you don't have the attention span of a gnat like I do.
Wait. Dude, this is our 1 year anniversary.
Is it today?
I don't know today, but Monza was our first ever episode we did.
No, was it? I swear, was it not Azerbaijan?
No, it was Monza. It was the review of Monza.
Wait, hold on. Let me see.
I remember exactly making that thumbnail. I can't believe I forgot our first anniversary.
Wait, are you serious?
Dude, I remember all the thumbnails I've made, and I remember the first one was
true. You do
out of
make
sector
thumbnails.
out of sector 3. It's if not now, if not then why now?
If not now, Leclerc wins. Yeah,
If not then why now was the title.
Yeah, that's crazy. Our first was Monza a year ago. Now, September 11th, 2024.
Do not look back because the quality is shocking.
Yeah, wow. September 11th, 2024. So our anniversary is actually in 3 days, technically, of our first upload. So what a year it's been, I guess. I guess we can I wish I had like a beer or something, but you know.
I don't have a beer either, but I mean,
yeah.
I can.
Crazy.
I mean, we're at 175 followers, I think, roughly on Instagram. We have hit 104 followers on YouTube, I believe. Now we are at 300
on TikTok.
300 and something on TikTok. We've accumulated roughly 500,000 views on TikTok alone. A ton of views on Instagram. A ton of views on YouTube as well. It's been a crazy ride so far. It's been a crazy ride so far. On
Apple Music and Spotify. You're not forgotten either.
We see you.
The few downloads we have, we see you.
We see you.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Thank you guys for all the support. That's crazy. I didn't realize that at all, actually. That's crazy. We will we'll do a digital cheers.
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah, get some beer in our hands, and we'll next time or something. But thank you all for listening. Everything I've said, what a year. If you don't follow us already, you can add towards our goal for the second anniversary. We'll see where we are a year from now. But yeah, thank you all for listening, and we'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.